In an age of hypersecurity and pervasiveness of social media, it's hard to believe that baby switching at hospitals still occurs to this day. But it does. In a dramatic episode tonight, eNCA's current affairs show Checkpoint speaks to mothers who've experienced this terror as recently as July this year. Producer Sebe Buthelezi has found that Tambo Memorial Hospital in Gauteng, where this took place, has a history of sending mothers home with the wrong babies. She joins me on Tuesday lunchtime ahead of her investigation, which is going to be broadcast at 10 o'clock tonight, both on ETV and also eNCA. The obvious question, Sebe, how can this still be happening in 2020?
Jeremy, with the lockdown, mothers were, there was a rule in hospitals where even if your child is sickly or there were complications at birth, if the mom is okay, then she's discharged, but the babies are left behind. So we came across two mothers who had given birth in July this year, and both their children had complications, so they had to leave the children behind. But so the children spent a full week in hospital, but when they were finally called to fetch their babies and take them home, it appears the nurses were negligent because they were handed the wrong children. You can find out more from the mothers.
Okay, let's take a listen to see the first one.
Maybe around 1, maybe
Okay, case study 1, okay. Tell us about the mother who ended up finding her child. That was the good news, but then there is this terrible twist in the tale. The child can't live with her.
Mm-hmm. So this mom had been raising this little boy for 3 years, well, she and her partner. So when they broke up, she needed the partner to support the kids that they have together. And he said he's not sure of the paternity of one of the kids, so he requested a paternity test. But when the results came back, they specifically said that neither she or the dad were the biological parents of this little boy. And so she approached the hospital for assistance in locating her now biological child, right? And when they found the child, it wasn't easy to just hand the child over to her, so there had to be a court process. And in that court process, the court ruled that she couldn't get her child back. The children have to turn 18 and then decide if they want to be raised by the psychological parent or they want to be raised by their biological parents.
All right, let's take a listen to the next bite that we've got.
It's hard. Something that belongs to you that you can actually take home. And you could easily be arrested for kidnapping.
Your own flesh and
Your
blood.
own flesh and blood.
From birth, a baby begins to attach firstly to a primary attachment figure and then to secondary attachment figures. And that all happens sort of within the first 2 years of life, possibly, years going forward. It carries on actually into your adult life, but the critical years are definitely those first 2 up to sort of the first 5 years. So these children had attached to the parents and the parent that was looking after them, the mother that was looking after that child. To then take that child away at the age of 4, when that is the person that the child knows to be their mother, the person that they can rely on, trust, that nurtures them, loves them, to take that child away does incredible psychological damage.
It goes without saying that the impact on the families is immense, it's everlasting. But just when you thought it couldn't get worse, it does. Because now you'll tell us about the story of a mother who raised her child that was not hers for 18 years.
And Jeremy, that mother actually suffered a double loss, because when she found out that the child she'd been raising for 18 years was not hers, she obviously had to break the news to the child. And I guess it was too much for the child to handle, so she ran away from home. and she's not lived with her since that day. But not only that, so she also approached the hospital, asking for the hospital to assist in her locating her biological child. But they said that the hospital records they have are now outdated, so there's no way of finding her biological child.
Ukuthi ukhulisa ingane ngcono umuntu mayeshonile uyazi ukuthi ushonile umgcibile umuntu mayenyamalala nje ungazi ukuthi fanele wenze njani umbheke kuphi kubhlungu kakhulu.
So it now begs the question, where does the Department of Health stand on this?
So they've told Checkpoint that they opened the files of these mothers and they want to enter into a mediation process to avoid litigation, because we know the department is inundated with claims and it doesn't seem like they have the money to pay these different complainants. So they are trying to enter into mediation as, I guess, a more cost-effective way for them to deal with the matters.
I would ask you to make a point of watching this gripping episode of Checkpoint tonight at 10 o'clock, both on eNCA and also ETV. Sebe Buthelezi, thank you very much indeed.